Hi everybody! Today we are going to make cultured cream cheese. Pretty basic stuff, and it's really good. So what I'm going to use is a gallon of whole milk. I bought this from Landis. You want to get the freshest, longest dated milk you can find. And a half pint of heavy whipping cream. Now I've made this several times. First time without the whipping cream. The cream cheese was good, but it was a little bit dry, not real creamy. Second time I made it, I put in a whole pint of whipping cream. It was fantastic, but it was very rich. So this time I'm going to go in between the two. So what we want to do is just pour our milk in the pot. Then we're going to put our whipping cream right in there with it. This is a stainless steel pot. It's much better to use than an aluminum pot. And we are going to heat this up to 88 degrees. You're going to want to heat it slowly. Now while it's heating, we are going to add calcium chloride because the milk that we have today is homogenized. Homogenized milk destroys the calcium bonds in the milk. So we need to add calcium back into it or we're not going to get a good curd. Per gallon of milk, we add approximately 1/4 teaspoon of calcium chloride, and you're going to want to dissolve this in about 3 tablespoons of water. And here I have about 3 tablespoons of water. Put it in there, mix it around, make sure it's all dissolved. Okay. That's doing it. Then we're going to add it to our milk while it's heating. And we're going to give it a really good stir. Now right now, my milk temperature, it says it's 55 degrees. It should take about 15-20 minutes to get this up to 88. That is with heating it very slowly. Okay, we're back. Sound of that alarm. My milk is now at 88 degrees. I'm just going to turn that off for now. And now we're ready to add the culture. So what I'm going to add is a packet of C21 buttermilk culture, and this is from New England Cheesemaking Supply Company. You could also use cultured buttermilk, kind you get from the supermarket, as long as it says cultured buttermilk. For this quantity of milk and cream, I would add about 5 ounces of the cultured buttermilk. So we've got this little packet. Now you're not going to want to dump it straight in. It's going to clump. And this is a very fine powder. We're just going to sprinkle it on the top, all around. Okay. Just like that. Okay. We're just going to let it sit there for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then we're going to mix that in. I start with an up and down motion to mix it in. Then I give it a really good stir. Okay. The last thing we have to do for today is we're going to add rennet. This is a double strength liquid rennet. Single strength rennet you would use between 6 to 8 drops for a gallon of milk. We're going to use 2 to 3 drops of milk that is, or 2 to 3 drops of rennet that is slightly diluted in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. If you put in more than 3 drops, dump it and start again. You really only want 2 to 3 drops. One, two, three. All right, mix that around a little bit. We're gonna add that to the milk. All right, we're done. We're gonna let this sit. I'm gonna put a lid on it. Gonna let it sit for 12 to 24 hours, and we'll see you tomorrow with the next step. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It's been almost 18 hours since we put the rennet in our milk, and then I set it on my dining room table to sit overnight. So here we are 18 hours later, and this has set up wonderfully. In the pot, you're going to notice a pool of whey on top, and then underneath that whey, we have very delicate curd. What we're going to do with that curd is we're going to transfer it into a cloth-lined colander. I gave you all a nice substantial piece of butter muslin. I have boiled this butter muslin to sterilize it. I put it in a pot of water, just boiled it, and then I just poured all the boiling water over top of my colander and my slotted spoon. You're going to need a slotted spoon this morning. And you're going to want to, we're going to take the curds and transfer it into the colander. Underneath my colander, I have a nice pot, so I'm going to save that whey. This whey is liquid gold. You're going to be able to, you can use it for rice, soups, pasta, or my dog likes it, and also a lot of it ends up outside on my plants. But the whey is very good. It's an active biologic, and you really don't want to pour it down your drain, especially if you have a I can't think of the word. Anyway, so now we're going to start. We have our slotted spoon. We're going to work our way around the top of the curd. Going to take a large amount, and we are just going to plop that into the colander. Very gently. These curds are not very solid. Actually, because we only did use 2 to 3 drops of the rennet. But this is perfect for cream cheese. And you're going to start to smell the sweet curd. And we're going to continue on. We're going to let this sit in the colander for about an hour to release a lot of the whey initially, and then we're going to hang it. We're going to tie this up and we're going to hang it for 6 hours. So I'm at the top of my colander. I probably should have used a larger one. I have more to dump in there. I'm going to do that later. But what I want to show you is the next step. So you're going to gather all of this into a large ball. And this is quite heavy right now. But you're going to want to tie it onto something and suspend it for about 6 hours. Now this is something my husband made me. It's very nice, comes in handy. If you have a large pot, you could use a large piece of supportive wood over top, or something that won't bend, because this is quite heavy. It probably weighs over 5 pounds right now. If it was a smaller amount, didn't weigh so much, I could hang it off of my kitchen sink, but I don't want to pull that down too much. So we have this, but you, like I said, you could use a piece of wood over top of a pot and just hold it, dangle it over your pot. You're going to have to improvise for this if you don't have something as nice as this. But we're going to come back in 6 hours and we're going to see how this is going. Now every 2 hours I'm going to untie this. Let me tie it first. I'm going to untie it, and then I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to push these curds around, because the middle is going to drain quicker than the outside. So we're going to want to give these curds a little stir, and we're going to come back every 2 hours, give them a stir, open up the air, and it'll help it drain better. So we'll see you back in 6 hours. Thanks. So this is the consistency of my batch of cream cheese, and you'll see how nice and creamy it is, and it is somewhat thick, but it's not like what you're used to with Philadelphia cream cheese. But anyway, this would be lovely in a cheesecake, or in a frosting. But this is it. At this point, you're going to want to plop this out of here and put it into a bowl, and then salt it to taste. Start with about a teaspoon of salt if you did the whole gallon of milk, or if you didn't, then maybe just start with a little bit less than that, and then adjust it accordingly. Mix it all in, and then give it a taste, because you can always add salt. You can't take it back out. Okay, thanks. Bye.